Going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope everyone has had a great Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for a live 2024 SUPERFLEX fantasy football draft with you guys, with the Catch fam, of course. One spot open. Link is live on Discord, and I'll drop it in the YouTube chat shortly for you guys. But we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna talk some fantasy football. Any fantasy football questions that you guys have, any fantasy football topics, NFL topics, get in the live chat. Let's get it popping. Let's have some fun. Per usual, we'll talk some fantasy football and throw together some beautiful 2024 fantasy football squads. All right, now we have two spots open. We lost one. So let me get the link live in the chat for everybody. Hop in here, help out the SUPERFLEX crew, and we'll get rolling as soon as this. Excuse me. Soon as this mock fills. Worst case scenario, I don't know. Maybe we'll have one or two auto pick teams, computer teams. Should still get a pretty good picture, but link is live in the chat there. Hop on in here and or sit back and watch it if that's what you feel like doing. So let's see while we're waiting to fill. All right, we got one spot. 1.1 is open. Someone get in the draft. Mock is going to start as soon as it fills for everyone waiting. Let me send out the final warnings. Then we'll go over the news for the day. 1.1 is open. Not a bad spot. Get your quarterback of choice. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so John Ross has a concussion. He now plays for the Eagles. That's probably not going to impact fantasy. Might impact your Madden teams. John Ross still great in Madden. Bengals running back Chris Evans suffered a torn patellar tendon during today's practice. He will miss the whole season. When this came out, I read it as Chase Brown, and I had a mini heart attack. No offense to Chris Evans. Interesting one here. Cowboys wide receiver Brandon Cooks headed to the locker room after visiting the injury tent during today's practice. And mock is full. Let's do it. Okay, if you guys are in the mock, 3, 2, 1, we are live. We are rolling. All 12 spots open. Mock has, oops, I spelled mock wrong. Mock has begun. Thank you to those you out there who hopped in here. Get some good practice for the upcoming SUPERFLEX League. But yeah, Brandon Cooks, we don't really have any. I don't know what type of injury it is for Brandon Cooks. So we'll see. But I mean, I do like Brandon Cooks at his ADP as like a late round wide receiver, like him in best ball. So I hope he's okay, but we don't really have any idea of what this injury is. If you guys know, let me know in the chat. But we'll just have to sit back and kind of see if we get a true update on Brandon Cooks. But that's probably the most fantasy relevant situation today in terms of injury, that is. All right. So see at the bottom of the chat, Cameron says Cooks knee soreness, no concern. Okay, good. Good. All right, Cameron, good to see you. KR, what's up? Andrea, hello, hello. Cameron with the crucial update here. A couple of you guys going positional to start the draft. I like that. Go QB. I have a Superflex mock in a 10-team league with Steven on Sunday night, early Sunday night. And I'm really interested to see how that goes. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about starting with a wide receiver and or running back to start and go like 0 QB. But it's a 10 team, so I'm a little bit more confident. Last year, when in the Superflex League for the catch, which is 12 teams, I drafted like the 1-9 or 110, and I did kind of go like light at quarterback. I think I went 1 QB early, then C-Mac in the second round, which kind of worked out. I mean, my team was competitive all year long, but I did not win that league, so I guess it didn't really work out. I don't even remember where I finished in the Superflex League, but I do feel like my team was decent all year long. But Trevor Lawrence really hurt me. I was really contingent on Trevor Lawrence. I remember that. All right, so I'm just going to, like, for the sake of research, I'm going to go double quarterback to start. Mr. Skurs does the same. I like that we have a good blend here of teams going like QB and or positional groups, though. Because I think realistically, that's what you'll see in most drafts. Believe it or not. I think some people would argue realistically you'll see more aggression at quarterback, but I really think you'll see a good blend, especially if it's like a first, if it's like a year-to-year draft, first time that you're doing a super flex draft with said people, I think you'll see a blend. Richardson at 1.3, I just saw that. Grail Collect, of course, a Colts fan, so not super surprising. Mr. Skurs says, this is the 5th mock I've joined as the last person. You're like our savior, bro. You come in right when we need you. All right, let's see. All right, any fantasy football questions you guys have, please throw them out in the chat. J-Dub says, I hate this mock already because of Michael. Yeah, Michael's a guy who will draft all wide receivers, running backs, tight ends through like the first 7 rounds, then draft like Sam Darnold and Aiden O'Connell and be competitive the whole year and make it to the playoffs. Michael's a guy who will draft one quarterback in the super flex league and flex a running back or wide receiver in the super flex spot and be competitive the whole year. So, but yeah, good blend through those first 2 rounds. Last super flex mock we did, it's a little bit more aggressive at quarterback. Disruption of my stack. Oh, yeah. Chase almost made it to you at the 2-7. All right, yeah, I don't really have a plan at all. Probably going to load up at wide receiver, running back. Feel pretty confident in Lamar and Purdy to start. That's my guy, Brock. It's just like it's so hard to tell like who's going to be where. So our Superflex League drafts, when did we draft? I pushed it back a little bit. Wow, 10 days. Gosh, all the drafts are just coming up quickly here. right, I'll go Gibbs. Jay Fitness, good to see you, bro. What's up? What's up? Nice to have you in the draft tonight. Yeah, we are going to draft this Monday. Literally, my calendar is just full of drafts for the next 3 weeks, which is a good thing. It's what we want this time of year. All right, so about to head into the fourth, and we still have Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, Levis, Geno. We got plenty of names at quarterback. But you do see, obviously quarterback's gone through the first 3 rounds here. There goes Kirko to end the third, and the fourth will kick off. Michael, see you soon, boy. The only non-quarterback team so far. Spanky goes wide receiver, running back to start. Still lands Cousins and Stafford. See, I like that start a lot. There's a lot of value in getting arguably the wide receiver 1 and the RB 1 and still getting good consistent play out of your quarterbacks, even if their ceiling's not super high in Cousins and Stafford. And who's to say those two don't have plenty of high ceiling finishes this season? Yeah, there's a lot of good running backs on the board when I went with Gibbs. I'll go Lundo. London, Adams, Ayuk, Evans, all fine. I knew Michael was going to pick A-Chain. Just think about that start. Kyron, A-Chain, St. Brown, Chase is just wild. J-Dubs goes 3 quarterbacks right out the gate to start. The only 3 QB team gets Ayuk in the 4th. Nice pick. Andrea says, me too. It's that time of year. It is that time of year. Oh, yeah, nothing else really coming up today that I feel like is worth talking about. How do you guys feel about the new feature on Sleeper? If you haven't seen it yet, the auto sub feature. So basically, you can set a player. If a player's questionable, let's say Devon A-Chain's questionable, you can link 2 running backs that play at the same time or after to A-Chain, and if A-Chain is ruled out, it automatically subs in those 2. You can set them in order. So if you have 2 running backs, you just set one as RB1, the next is RB2. It's pretty interesting. I feel like, I think it's a great feature, but I feel like you have to have that one person who forgets to check their lineup or forgets that a player's injured or whatever. I feel like that's just part of fantasy. Super CMB, good to see you, bro. I'm about to do a PPR draft, and I'll have the 2-4. So in the range of Puka, Gibbs, Kyron, Pacheco, Lave, MH Jr., etc. Who do you like of those guys? So who are you taking at the 2-4s? My first question. And how many teams are in the league, 10 or 12? Because depending on who you're drafting with, you might not see Puka, Gibbs, or Kyron at the 2-4. But if any of those guys are there, I'm fine with all those guys, and and you might not see Marvin Harrison Jr. there. But yeah, it kind of also depends on who you pick in the first round. But I like all the players listed. But yeah, let me know who you think he'll take in the first round. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I read this wrong. I'm sorry. So are you drafting from the 1.9 and then you'll have the 2.4? Still, who are you taking in the first round? Yeah, I mean if you're drafting from the 2.4, you are in range to take all these players. Drafting from the 1.7 and a 10 man. Okay, my bad. Who are you taking in the first round? All right, give me Cook. Tough pick there. A lot of good players available. Is this really 2 flex and 2 wide receivers? No, my bad. I'm fixing it. It's not double flex. I was in a hurry tonight. Sorry, Cats. It is 2 wide receivers, though. Cats is mad at me. I'm going to have to pause the draft to do it. I'll pause it on my next pick. It's 1 flex, then a super flex. It's really close to going Devonta Smith at the 5.8. I didn't know if Cook would make it back. Then I kind of looked at everyone's teams in front of me and noticed that they all were like pretty stout at running back. And I was like, maybe I should have pushed Cook because I also like Walker in the 6. So I think I prefer Drake London, Devonta Smith, and then Cook or Walker at 6.5, which it looks like, unless Andrea takes Walker here, I could have done that. So I kind of wish I had, but there's still a lot of good wide receivers here. So I also looked at this range of wide receivers and felt good. Cooper or Dell or Metcalf fall. I like all those guys. But then I also like, Higgins, Flowers, Kirk, plenty of good names here. Andrea does go Walker, but I would think Walker or Cook makes it out there. So I'll go Flowers. Hold on. Sorry. Pause draft. Everyone yell at me. We'll pause it on Michael's pick. Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay, it should be fixed now. All right, we're back. Michael gets extra time to pick, of course. Silver Money, good to see you. What's up? I do play Dynasty. Yes, I'm in 4 Dynasty leagues. 2 single quarterback, 2 super flex. If you have Dynasty questions, we are here for you. Looking at whoever's left of the top 7 players in my mind, CMC, Lamb, Hill, Bijan, Chase, Amon-Ra. Okay, fair. Well, I would just if you end up with Brees or Bijan, I don't think C-Mac makes it back to you, but if he does, that's great. If you end up with a running back in the first, I would go wide receiver in the second and vice versa. If you end up with a wide receiver in the first, I go running back in the second. So I hate to not give you a true answer, but I do like all these players that you listed right here. I probably put them in order of Puka, MH Jr., Puka, Gibbs, MH Jr., Pacheco, Kyron, I think are tied, and then Olave. And I'm not out on Olave at all, though. Yeah, probably not getting C-Mac, but you never know. We might have a lot of people scared of a Christian McCaffrey calf strain. So yeah, I think so at the 1.7, I mean, I think you have a pretty good shot to land Brees or Bijan. It just depends on who you're drafting with. So I'm not worried about Puka. There's like a bad stigma around Puka right now. I'm not really worried about him. I still kind of view him the same, but I think if you end up with one of those top tier wide receivers, you end up with Gibbs in the second, you're fine. If you're worried about the Gibbs hamstring thing, then you can go Kyrie and you can go Pacheco, Mr. Skurs, do you think Puka is a stronghold in Dynasty? I feel like I'm dumb to trade him after last year. but then dumb if I don't sell him high. I mean, I do think you're probably going to have the best chance to sell Puka at his highest value coming off of last year, but it might be stained a little bit. Now it's a little bit stained because of the knee injury. Like, that's the thing. I think as long as Matthew Stafford's there, Puka will be a machine. It's probably just fine. Can probably produce with another quarterback. But yeah, it's kind of a tough because I think the knee injury kind of has put a little, like I said, there's a smear campaign against Puka right now. So I don't know if you're actually selling him at his complete ceiling. But I think just based off of last year, he's still like in that tier that he's in is still hard to touch, right? There we go, Mike. There we go, Mike. All right, I will go Christian Kirk. I feel like he's the best value on the board. Considered him with my last pick. So I'll snag him up. Jaden Reed's a nice value here. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, Mr. Skurs. I would personally hold Puka, though. If you're asking like what I would do, I'd just hold him. You got a favorite draft position, Superflex? Not really, RS. I mean, not really. This is only the second Superflex mock I've done this off season. I haven't done any of the Underdog Superflex drafts this year. And I've drafted from the 1-8 in both mocks so far because that's where I'm drafting from in the Catch Fam League. What are your thoughts on whether is it worth it to draft the top tier quarterbacks, tight ends early, or wait until late draft until better, cheaper value options? For me, in single quarterback redraft leagues, it's 100% going with the later round guys. I mean, I think if you want to dip into that tier of like Kincaid, Pitts, Kittle, Ingram, go for it. I'm completely fine with that. Don't have any issue with that. I don't think you're spending like a tremendous amount of draft capital on them, and you'll see in most drafts like one of those guys kind of fall out. So if you are able to get one of those guys to fall out, that's of course beautiful. And for quarterback, it's like, I mean, I get the value of having a top tier quarterback in fantasy football, but I just don't spend that early draft capital on quarterback or tight end. Like, I'm not going to draft either in the first 5 rounds, and I prefer to really not in the first 6 rounds. For the most part, if you guys watch my mock drafts throughout the offseason in single quarterback formats, taking quarterback late, you know, I'm looking at Purdy, Goff, Tua, Jaden Daniels, and one of those players, Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford. I'm okay with going into like the Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray range because I do think there's still plenty of value there. And you're not once again spending tremendous draft capital. Also, a tight end like Ferguson and Joku. Like I think like that's the thing. At tight end and quarterback, you can get a top 10 player at either position and draft them so much later. And just I'm gonna, especially so many leagues now are double flex or triple wide receiver. Like there's just more reason to draft skill position players at earlier selections. So I just prefer to do it then. So yeah, I think you look back to last year and it's the same thing every year. Same thing every year. I mean, Baker Mayfield was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy last year, you know. Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott. Stafford was great, but he was what? Quarterback 15, 12? Quarterback 15. Cousins was on a great pace till he got hurt. Kyler wasn't even getting drafted in some leagues. Started the year on IR, you know. Anthony Richardson was going super late last year. Stroud didn't even get drafted in most leagues. He was quarterback 12. That was the quarterback 12 I was thinking of. Then you look at tight end. I mean, it's the same thing. So many like high value players, top 10, top 8 players. Now, of course, you can look at the disparity between like the QB 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and QB 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 might be a little bit different. And for tight end, it's definitely that disparity is a little bit larger, but you can still win championships with those players who are in that range for sure. So, especially this year at tight end, I feel like there's no reason to take an early tight end. No reason to spend a second round pick, third round, fourth round pick on a Kelsey, Laporta, Andrews, McBride. Depending on where Kincaid goes, like I'm more okay with it, but I just don't feel like there's any reason when you have guys like Evan Ingram, who's been a top 5 tight end the past 2 seasons, and he's going as like the tight end 8 off the board. I think guys like Ferguson, even Njoku, are in a great position this year. And if you don't get into those top tiers, you have guys like Goddard, Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth, Cole Kmet. I like Luke Musgrave. You got guys in really good positions still. I'll go Godwin. I'm surprised Godwin fell that far. Mike, what's up, man? We got Dangerous. That's the QB2. Thanks for the input about Puka and Dynasty. Diamond Handon holding strong. This knee injury hasn't really scared me at all. Yeah, that's the thing. If you try and trade him, you might have someone be like, oh, he's hurt, you know, lower the value. I just hold him for now. Jay Fitness says, like the video. Like the dang video. All right, guys. After your 9th round pick, we have 4 selections left. Go get your guys. Thank you guys for getting in tonight's draft. I know the SUPERFLEX drafts for some people. Maybe not playing in one this year, but it's good to get a little bit of a different look. Chandler says, you guys are crazy taking Kyler over Burrow to QB. He did not go before Burrow in this draft. He went after. I don't know who I'm going to take with this next pick. Some good names on the board. Just let me buy the dip right here. Yeah. Wait. Are you saying Kyler should go over Burrow or vice versa? Because Kyler went at the 1.9, Burrow went at the 1.6. Oh, I forgot about the poll. My bad. I forget that I even put those in there. That is funny because the draft that didn't happen at all. Good call, Chandler. Not the craziest. I'm a Burrow fan. He does have the rushing upside in MH, Jr., and McBride. Yeah, I think you just kind of look at it like, you know, are you going for that rushing upside, kind of that potential higher ceiling? Or are you going for a pocket passer who maybe could potentially be a little bit more consistent? But they're pretty close for me, just 2 different styles. Quarterback. But yeah. Kyler at 67, Burrow at 33. I do think when people see a name like Kyler Murray, they definitely associate that with like higher fantasy upside. So not entirely shocking. All right, 3 spots here. I got some work to do on this roster. Three rounds left, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wasn't there preseason football tonight? I've been like super busy today. Let's check some stats. Was it just the Eagles Patriots? No other games, right? Wow. Tanner McKee, Kenny Pickett, Will Greer. Those were your quarterbacks for the Eagles. No passing touchdowns. Will Shipley, 5 touches. TDP, 4 touches. Kenneth Gainwell, 3 touches. All the quarterbacks ran around. Kendall Milton had a score. Kenneth Gainwell, a couple grabs. John Ross got hurt. Will Shipley, a couple grabs. I'm really starting. The thing is, Shipley and Gainwell's touches are pretty similar overall. But I think the ability to potentially pick up a Eagles handcuff is looking strong. I don't know, but TDP is getting touches too. What to keep an eye on that. Maybe 4 running backs make the final cut, maybe 3. Pats. Joe Milton did like nothing in this game. 3 rushes, 9 yards, 2 of 7. So that's great. I, for some reason, picked up Joe Milton in Dynasty. In the league where I'm completely win now. Drake May was 6 of 11 for 47 passing yards, 4 carries, 15 rushing yards, and a tutty. Ran one in. Jacoby Brisket, 3 of 7, 17 passing yards, and a pick. Bailey Zappi was 3 of 4 for 29 total yards. Passing yards. Bailey Zappi added 1 carry for 0 rushing yards. All right, y'all are going to like this pick right here. This next pick is for Michael. Shout out, Mike. I don't know why this pick is dedicated to you, bro. I was going to say, as long as Andrew doesn't take him. Sammy D. That's my QB3. All right, Ramondre had 6 touches. Nothing special. Yeah. Antonio Gibson had 4 touches. Nothing special. Kevin Harris had a couple touches. Keyshawn Boutte, 3 receptions, 23 total yards. He's really, and like Patriots fans, like people close to this training camp, really like Keyshawn Boutte and really think he'll make the final cut here after a disappointing year last year. Javon Baker had a catch for 12 yards. Austin Hooper's on the pass. I did not know that. Jalen Polk had 2 catches for 6 yards. Pop Douglas had 1 catch for 1 yard. Not much to pull from here, ladies and gentlemen. Not much to pull from. Yeah, I feel great about this team tonight. Only thing I probably would have done differently, and I don't think it hurts the roster, is I would have gone Devonta Smith over Cook and then gone Cook or Walker at 6'5". But I don't know. Maybe Cook or Walker wouldn't have been there. Then I'd be forced to go Mixon or Swift. Drake May, the future. Eagles benched all the starters except for Kenny Gainwell / Will Shipley. Yeah, it didn't look like Milton got a lot of snaps. I mean, yeah, Brisket is definitely the QB1. Yes, I know his last name is Brissett, but I've always called him the brisket. So they're going to go in the season with Jacoby Brissett starting for sure. For sure. May 2nd, Milton 3rd, Zappy 4th. Yeah, Zappy might not make. That's really the big thing. Is Zappy or Joe Milton going to be the QB3? Because one's going to get kicked to the practice squad. They're not going to go in the season with 4 on the starting roster. Man, I really pushed running back. I really made a decision in this draft to just not take running back serious at all. Load up at wide receiver, get a good tight end, and load up on quarterback early. I think everyone at running back who I think is worth taking here would be on the waiver wire. So we'll just take Wicks. I think Cole Kmet, Luke Musgrave, okay there. If I was going to go running back, it would be like Dameon Pierce. I was hoping for some reason I thought Dowdle might fall, but we had a little bit of run at running back there at the end. Like Wright, Corum, Dowdle would have been the guys I preferred. Even Benson. Algier fine too. But I'm just going to roll with this triple RB team. A lot of good wide receivers still available. All right. I'm sure you're playing in a few leagues, so I was wondering, do you try avoiding the same players or normally take your main guys? I mean, I'm going to diversify a little bit because I'll be in 16 leagues, but really 12 leagues, not including the dynasty leagues. Then I've done about 100 underdog drafts, so yeah, I'm going to diversify and have a lot of different looks. But really, to answer your question, not really. No, I think it's all about just going with the value that you think's on the board. And for that reason, I will have a lot of the same players. But every now and then, yeah, I'll look at a draft and be like, I took Amon-Ra at 3 straight drafts. Let's take Chase for this draft, But the one league I did that in last year, I ended up going AJ Brown over Amon-Ra, which wasn't a huge disappointment, but it was at the end of the year. And then I went I went someone else over. I think I took a running back over CeeDee Lamb, and I could have had both. I drafted from the 111, I believe. So yeah, maybe too specific of a example, but sometimes it's just best to stick with your guys that you like. Because that was one of my last drafts last year, and I was like, I'm gonna just switch it up in this draft, But yeah, I mean, I just kind of stick with my guys always. But for example, some leagues, most leagues, I'll be taking Isaiah Pacheco into the second, right, or Derrick Henry, right. But I'm going to have leagues where I say I'm going to go Devon Achane for the sake of this league. There are certain players that I want to get shares of, but maybe want to be a little bit less aggressive at, if that makes sense. All right, J Fitness at the 5. We got Mahomes and Caleb Williams. It's okay to go into a Superflex year with 2 quarterbacks. It's okay. Don't have to have 3 or 4 in your draft. Kittle at tight end, Mixon, Najee, Javonte, Benson, Algier, good RB room. JJ Evans, Moore, Addison, J-Mo. I mean, really good wide receiver room. I'm a little worried about Addison, but you might be able to throw him on the IR to start the year. We'll find out. Yeah, I mean, I kind of worry about Caleb Williams as a QB2, but I just don't think his ceiling's massively high in his rookie season, but the floor is probably fine. You got a lot of good skill position players here. I mean, we're going to probably be rolling with Mahomes, Caleb, Mixon and Najee, JJ Evans, and flexing DJ Moore. So that starting lineup super solid. Great bench too. Javonte, Addison, J-Mo, Benson, Algier. I mean, I might go like Daniel Jones over Algier. I mean, at this point, if you're drafting Danny Dimes the final round, I think you take that 3rd quarterback. But I can see why you went with the 5th running back. But it's a good team. Core roster looks great. Bench, very, very good. Big Mike, what we got here? 4 QBs. You probably need them on this team. You got Young, Russ, and Fields, and Carr. I mean, this could definitely work. Bryce Young is that late round quarterback that I like. Kyron, A-Chain, Zamir White, 3 running backs. That's fine. Play the waivers for your 4th. 3 studs. Amon-Ra, Chase, Pittman, Dobbs, Gabe Davis. Great value at wide receiver throughout the draft. Kincaid at tight end. Great tight end. I mean, so this is a good example. I mean, like, you don't go quarterback till the 7th here. So say you're starting Bryce Young and Carr. I don't know. At this point, it's hard to say what the situation with the Steelers QB is going to be. Then you're starting Kyron, A-Chain, Amon-Ra, Chase, Pittman, Kincaid. So all your upside is in these first 6 picks. Now, the other way to look at this is you're starting Amon-Ra, Chase, Kyron, A-Chain, Pittman, Kincaid. One of these QBs, then you're super flexing White or Dobbs. Could definitely be a situation as well. I mean, you know what this is. Your upside's not at quarterback at all. Your upside's everywhere else. Could definitely make this team competitive throughout the entire season. Perko. What's up, bro? Hurts, Herbert, Will Levis. I like this quarterback room. Yeah. Pitts, good there. Brown, Puka, Collins, B-Tom. Kind of a 0 RB team. Warren, Brooks, Chuba, Dobbins, right? Okay. So you're starting Hurts and Herbert, AJ Brown, Puka, flexing Collins, starting Pitts, starting Warren, starting Chuba. You get Jay Brooks down the stretch. Yeah, I could roll with this. I see why you went back-to-back running backs in the 12th and the 13th, but I might take one more wide receiver. But, I mean, you're probably starting those 3 guys at the top of the draft all year anyway, so debatable. Got a lot of contingent on B-Tom. I would have taken a more established guy here. Sutton, Dobbs. You could argue J-Mo, but I think B-Tom's okay too. So, yeah, I mean, you know what this team is. 0 RB. Great wide receivers. Good quarterback room. Good tight end. Still pretty good running back room for where you took him. Dubby. Burrow, T-Law, Goff. So the only team to go 3 quarterbacks in a row. Very good quarterback room. Ingram, beautiful in the 7th. Ayuk, Waddle, Neighbors, still very good value to start a wide receiver. Sutton, Polk, not bad. Jones, Brown, Spears, Dowdle. I feel like you're probably really happy with this team. You got a lot of your guys, a lot of guys at good value. Starting Burrow and Lawrence or Goff. I mean, you got a lot of flexibility at quarterback. If a quarterback gets hurt, you're like in a great spot. You're starting Ingram, starting Ayuk, Waddle, and let's say Neighbors in the flex. Then starting Aaron Jones and one of these 3 running backs. And you also have the ability to flex Sutton, like if Neighbors' injury is lagging. Chase Brown, Spears, Dowdle gives you a lot of flexibility. It's a good team. I feel like you're probably pretty happy with that squad. I don't know. Cameron's at the 1-1 tonight. Allen, Daniels, Mayfield. I like this quarterback room. You obviously have Josh Allen. But then Daniels gives you that upside. Then Baker comes in as like that, you know, kind of maybe not high ceiling, but guy that can fill in for you. Bowers and Goddard. Nice. Wilson, Debo, Cup, Josh Palmer. See, like 4 wide receivers does make me just a little bit nervous. Man, you got really good value at running back in this draft. Kamara, Mostert, Gus, and Blake Corum is, for not drafting a running back till the 7th, I think really nice. So you're starting Allen and let's say Daniels. Goddard or Bowers. Wilson, Debo, Cup. Kamara, Mostert. You still have one of those tight ends, Baker, Gus, and Corum on the bench. And then, I mean, Josh Palmer is a good value in the 13th. I mean, that's the thing is I probably would have gone wide receiver in the 9th. Gone like Godwin was there, Deontay. You got guys like Ladd or JSN, Roma Dunze, Watson, Hollywood. And then just gone Goddard in the 11th. But this is a good team, man. You had a lot of really good value come to you. Good team. Appreciate that. I was just worried about taking guys like Kamara, Zamir, Jamar. Maybe you want to diversify in the first round. There's less room for error, but when it's later round guys, like Zamir White's going to be a target in all my drafts. The draft, the value, the draft capital doesn't hurt you. All right, Grail collect at the 1-3. Richardson and Tua, Bo Nix, Kelsey, Schultz, JT Swift, Pollard, Eckler. For kind of like spreading out your running backs, I think you have a good running back room. Adams, Pickens, Worthy, Coleman. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a risky wide receiver room, but plenty of upside. So, like, if I spend a 5th round pick on Kelsey here, I'm just not drafting Schultz. I would get an additional wide receiver here, whether it's Palmer, Shaheed, Wicks, whoever you like there. You kind of had to pick Bo Nix, which I think A-Rich and Tua can get you through. But you could argue that Daniel Jones, you could argue, is the right pick there. I don't know. But you're starting A-Rich and Tua, Kelsey, JT Swift, Adams, Pickens, Worthy. I don't know. I kind of like, you got a lot of upside in that starting lineup. So, and a good little bench. Pollard, Coleman, Eckler. And I mean, I like Schultz a lot this year. I just think taking another wide receiver there would have helped you. But yeah, this team's not bad. And I get why you don't like the wide receiver room, but there's a lot of upside here. Mr. Skurs. We got Stroud and Love. Well, once again, it's okay to go into a Superflex year with 2 quarterbacks. But at bye week, you're going to figure something out. And if one of them gets hurt, you might be like me last year when I was streaming Ben DiNucci. So just keep it in mind. Njoku, Musgrave, good tight ends. Henry, Etienne, Connor, Elliott. Pretty good running back room here. Metcalf, Dell, Johnson, Watson, Myers. Really good wide receivers. Starting Stroud and Love, Henry, Etienne, Njoku, Metcalf, Dell, Deontay, or Christian Watson. Good options on the bench. Hey, for a 2 QB team, not bad. Stroud and Love feels like a good combo. Andrea's at the 1-9 tonight. She got Kyler early, Danny Dimes late. See, that's a little risky. I think in Superflex, Danny Dimes should be drafted. But we're going to prefer him as a QB3. Let's see what else we got here, though. Freiermuth, fine. Bijan, Jacobs, Walker, great start. Singletary, fine in the 10th. Olave, Diggs, Reed, Rice, Ladd, Shakir. You came out fine at wide receiver. I just don't want Daniel Jones as a QB2. And like I said, it's okay to go into a season with 2 quarterbacks and that's it. But like you look at some of the other teams that drafted just 2, Stroud and Love, Dak and Watson, Mahomes and Caleb. I just worry about Danny Dimes, QB2 there. But I don't know. Maybe he surprises. So you're starting Kyler, and you're probably still starting Daniel Jones in Superflex. Bijan, Jacobs, Olave, Diggs, Reed. Now, you do have a lot of good skill position players here left. Walker, Rice, Ladd, Singletary, Shakir, starting Freiermuth as well. So there is the opportunity to Superflex Walker or Rashee Rice. So you got Rice at a really good value, too. I mean, I could see where guys kept falling to you, and it's easy to pass on quarterback there. But, yeah, I would just like – I think instead of going Shakir, I take Darnold or Fields and try and get a third quarterback if Danny Dimes is in the mix. Cameron, do you think there should be less or more bench spots here? Probably one more, right? Probably 6. I think for the actual draft, that's what we'll have. Don't really like my team. This is definitely too comfortable for me. Not enough risk upside. I just feel like you got a lot of guys you like. Yeah, we do have a keeper. So our draft's going to be very different from this because there's going to be players off the board already. Our draft's going to be really interesting. Yeah, I think Superflex 6 spots is appropriate for sure. That's what the real league will have. All right, let's roast my team. Lamar and Purdy went double quarterback out the gate. Got Sammy D late here, the 12th. Gibbs, Cook, Ford. I went really light at running back. London, Flowers, Kirk, Godwin, Hollywood, Wicks. I love these wide receivers. You know I like Fergie. The only thing I would have done differently is maybe try to push Cooks or Walker to 6.5 and go Devonta Smith, but I'm not too upset I got Flowers and secured the running back I prefer between Cook and Walker, although I like both a lot. So starting Lamar and Purdy, Gibbs and Cook, Ferguson, then London, Flowers, Kirk, Godwin, Brown, Ford, Darnold, Wicks on the bench. I really like this team. I like this team a lot. So depends on personal conviction, all that stuff. You guys are asking for team of the night, and a lot of really good drafting tonight. But I think for drafting from the 1.1 here, I like Cameron's team. Like I said, the only thing I would have done differently is I would have passed on Bowers and gone wide receiver there, especially with Godwin on the board. But other names, Watson, Hollywood, JSN, Deontay, whoever you feel is best there. But Allen, Daniels, Wilson, Debo, Kupp, Kamara, Mostert, then Bowers or Goddard as a starter. Gus and Corum I love on the bench, and Palmer I like on the bench too. So, and then Baker's on the bench too. But that firepower to start Allen, Daniels, Wilson, Debo, Kupp, Kamara, Mostert, and then good enough at tight end. I think this team is really solid. A lot of good value came to you though, which is okay. It doesn't work against you, of course, but I thought Mr. Skurs also had a really good team for just going double QB here. And yeah, I do like J-Dub's team. I thought it was really balanced. I do like Jay Fitness's team, but you got a lot contingent on Caleb Williams, but Superflex, he's probably fine. So a lot of good drafting tonight across the board from everybody, except for Katz. His team was bad. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding, Katz. All right, guys. Great draft tonight. Great mock. Thank you guys for getting in here, getting this put together. Tomorrow night, we'll probably do a PPR mock. Then Saturday, we have a real draft, and Sunday, we have a real draft. So if you guys are in the Catch Fam League number 3, we are drafting Saturday night. And number 2, we are drafting Sunday night. So try and get into tomorrow's mock draft. Probably only going to have time to do one, but try and get in and get some practice. All right, guys, hit the like. All the links are down below. You know what to do. And yeah, I'll be streaming both the drafts. So don't worry. I apologize. I know we're drafting a little bit early, but this is kind of just what I have to do. This is about where we drafted last year started drafting for a lot of the leagues. So my entire calendar for the next 3 weeks, I have drafts all over the place. So yeah, everything should be fine. It didn't impact the leagues like really at all last year that we started drafting around this time. So yes, League 5 is not filled. So if you guys want another league for the year, $20 buy-in, full PPR, double flex, single quarterback, redraft, link is right there. League safe payment, all that stuff. Get in the dang league. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. 4 spots available. That league is not drafting until the first week of September, so 18 days. So we'll get it filled. Don't worry. If you guys want in, there's another league you guys can join. $20 buy-in. All right, thank you guys so much for drafting tonight, and that'll do it. So hit the like, do all the YouTube stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. Hit me up on Discord or Sleeper if you guys need anything. Great practice tonight. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch Fam. I will talk to everybody soon. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And peace.